In this lesson, we're going to look at solving equations. We've already looked at this earlier in the year, but now we're going to look at it again with some geometry mixed in. So first, let's look at just some review vocabulary. If we're looking for area, that is the amount inside the shape. Or we can say it's the space inside the shape. And this is talking about just a 2D figure. And the perimeter is the distance around the shape. And you don't have to write this part down, but just for an example, or if you need a visual, if we're looking at this triangle number 1, the area would be everything inside here. That would be the area. But if we were looking for perimeter, that would be the distance all the way around. So that's the difference between those two things. So we're going to use that a little bit here. Okay, so we're going to just do solving equations, but with some geometry mixed in. So we're going to find the value of each variable. So for number 1, we have a triangle, and we are given some of the angle measures. This angle is 74, this angle is x, and this angle is 2x plus 7. And it tells us that the sum, that means an addition problem, when I add them up, it equals 180. So I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to add these angles up, and I know it has to equal 180. So the angles are the 2x plus 7 plus the x plus the 74. So I just added this angle, and that angle, and that angle. It doesn't matter what order you add them in, as long as we're adding all the angles together, and it says the sum of that has to be 180. And now we're going to start solving, so we're going to go through and combine any like terms. So I have this 2x and this x here, and if there's no number in front, that means it's a 1. That's that hidden math. So 2x and 1x makes 3x. And then I'm going to look for any other like terms. I've got this positive 7 and a positive 74. So I can add those together next, and that's going to give me a positive 81. And then that's it for my left side, and on my right side I just drop down the equal to 180. And now I can just solve this regular two-step equation. So first we're going to do minus 81 on both sides. And that's going to give me 3x is equal to 99. Divide both sides by 3. And then x has to equal 99 divided by 3 is 33. Okay, number 2, similar, but we have a parallelogram, and this is the sum of these angles is going to be 360. So this one I've got to add up all 4. Again, doesn't matter what order, so I'm just going to start here. I'm going to add up this 1, 2, 3. We're going to add them all up. So we have 2x plus, that's this one, plus the x angle, plus the 2x angle, plus another x angle. And all together that has to equal 360. That's what it tells me in the directions there. And we're going to do the same thing that we just did. We're going to combine any like terms we have first. So I have a 2x, and then a 1x, a 2x, and a 1x. A 2 plus 1 makes 3, plus a 2 more makes 5, plus 1 makes 6. So I've got 6x, no constants this time, so 6x equals 360. And then I can finish solving. Divide both sides by 6. X equals 60. Okay, so number 3, this is where the perimeter comes in. So we have to know what perimeter means. That means the distance around. So I have to go all the way around the shape and add up all the sides, and that's going to be that 24. So I'll start here. The x plus an x plus 6 plus another x plus another x plus 6. And altogether that perimeter has to be 24. Do the same thing again. We're going to go through and combine any like terms. I've got an x, and an x, and an x, and an x, and there's all one x, so there's no number in front. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 x's. And then I have a positive 6, and a positive 6 makes a positive 12. Bring down my equal to 24. Now that I'm done simplifying, now I'm going to start solving. So the opposite of plus 12, we'll do minus 12 on both sides. 4x equals 24 minus 12 is 12. And then divide both sides by the 4. So the x has to equal 3. On number 4, we're going to do the area. An area is a space inside. And since there's different area formulas depending on the shape. Since we are looking at a rectangle, you can write that off to the side. The area of a rectangle, area equals length times width. So then we have to take the length, which is the 8x minus 54, and times that by the width. So times that by the 10. And together that has to equal that 180 it gives us. I could have put that 10 on the other side. I could have put that 10 over here on this side. But it's not really going to make a difference, and we're just used to seeing the number out front go first. And I had to make sure I put the 8x minus 54 in parentheses because I need that entire thing, not just the 8x and not just 54, but that entire thing being multiplied by the 10. And once we have that set up, then we're going to do this problem as a distributive property. 10 times 8x is 80x. And then we're going to do 10 times a negative 54 is a negative 540. And then we're going to drop down our equal to 180. And now I'm going to start solving. So I'm going to add 540 to both sides. 8x is equal to 180 plus 540. That gives me 720. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 8. And I find that the x has to equal 90. 720 divided by 8 is 90. Okay, next one is another perimeter. So that means I'm going to add all the way around. But looking at this, I only see one side. But if I really think about what shape this is a square. And a square means that if one side is 25 minus 2x, they all have to be 25 minus 2x. Because on a square, all sides are the same. So we could do this one two different ways. We could do it like we did the last perimeter problem, like a number 3, and add all those up. Add each of those sides up. But because they're all the same, we're going to do a different method on this one. I have 4 of the exact same thing. Well, that is what multiplying means. When I have 4 of the exact same thing, the shortcut is to take that thing, which is our 25 minus 2x, and we can multiply that 4 times. That's how many of those I have. And my perimeter has to equal 64. If you're not sure how I'm getting this, that's fine. You can go ahead and just add the 25 minus 2x plus 25 minus 2x plus 25 and all 4 times. Or we can do this shortcut. And then once I have this written, there's more than one way to solve again. We could just divide everything by 4. I'm going to go ahead and do distributive properties because that's what we've been practicing. 4 times 25 is 100. 4 times a negative 2x is a negative 8x. And then I'm just going to drop down my equal to 64. Got to get rid of that 100 first. Even though it's not in the order we're used to, whatever's attached to x gets done last. I'm going to do this minus 100 next. Negative 8x. Remember to bring down that minus sign. That minus sign becomes a negative. I haven't used that yet. And then we're going to do 64 minus 100 is negative 36. And then we're going to divide both sides by negative 8. And our x then has to equal 4.5. And our last one, and this shape says we have a sum of angle measures is 540. So I'm going to add up all my angles, and it's going to equal 540. So similar to what we did up in number 1 and 2. Make some room. So let's see. Let's start with this angle. I got 5x plus, let's do this one next, 113. Let's look at this one. This symbol, when you see this symbol, this square in the corner, that means 90 degrees. So I got to add a 90 degrees plus, notice how this points to both angles. So I've got two angles that are 4x plus 6. So I've got a 4x plus 6 plus another 4x plus 6, and that all has to equal 540. Okay, I ran out of room there. Now we're going to start combining our like terms, just like we did before. So let's see, we've got 5x, 4x, and another 4x. So we've got 5 plus 4 plus 4. That means I've got 13x. And then we'll add our constant. So I've got a positive 113 plus 90 plus a 6 plus another 6. That's going to give us a positive 215. And again, that all has to equal that 540. So I'm done combining like terms. There's no distributive property here. So then we're going to solve. So we're going to take and minus the 215 from both sides. So that's going to give me 13x is equal to 540 minus 215 is 325. Then we're going to divide both sides by 13. And x has to equal 25 when I do my division. So mostly we're just solving regular equations. This happens to have this geometry in it to tell us how to set up our equation.